this is our plan of attack.
Banks have become an essential threat to our democracy. So consider this justice.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the internet. Please help support this station so this battle can continue forward. Revolution Radio! The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Barbara Jean Lindsey is an internationally acclaimed psychic, spiritual healer, author, and founder of the online mystery school, Esoteric University. As the Cosmic Oracle, she is a conduit to the powers that be to answer your questions about your future self, past lives, current career, love. She shines light into the darkness to illuminate what was, what may be, and beyond. The readings and advice given by Barbara Jean Lindsey are for entertainment purposes only. Should not take the place of any medical, legal, or financial advice.
Thank you. This is your host, Barbara Jean Lindsey, and welcome to the Cosmic Oracle Show. It is Friday, October 5th, 2018. We're really happy to have you here. You are in for a real treat and a wild ride. Oh, and then we're having a little bit of connection trouble here, so I think we're almost there. Okay. There was a little bit of I felt that. So we're going to start all over. Hello. If you don't get it right the first time, you just do it until you get it right, okay? So it is Friday, October 5th, 2018. You are listening to the Cosmic Oracle Show, and I am your host, Barbara Jean Lindsey. And we're really excited to be here today. We have an amazing guest. We're going to get into some thrilling events and an amazing doctor that we're going to interview and talk about his fascinating work and his concise history of the second planet, Venus, the Venus rising. So we'll be with Dr. Raymond Andrew Keller II in just a few moments. But before we do that, I would like to thank you for donating. If you have not donated yet, there's still time. All you have to do is go to freedomslips.com on the web. That's freedomslips.com, and push that donate button and donate whatever you can. $5, $10, whatever you can, because remember, Revolution Radio is a listener-supported station. That means that no one gets paid for anything. We all do this out of the generosity of our hearts and what we think is important at getting the truth out to you. So thanks in advance for your donations. And again, go to freedomslips.com, hit that donate button, and give whatever you can. So far this month, we have donations of $673, and we need $2,600 to keep the lights on and everything going. So thank you again in the past for being so generous and keeping us on the air. So again, we are just tuned in to the Cosmic Oracle Show. And next Thursday, I will be on another show that we have here on Revolution Radio, and it's called, you think I would know, it's Metaphysical Musings with a good friend of mine, Sheila Kennedy, and I know you're listening, Sheila, hello out there, and in New Zealand, and she has an amazing show called Welcome to the 1%. With Sheila Kennedy, and that starts on Thursday at 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern Time on October 11th, which makes it midnight for me here in LA. So it'll be a 3-hour show, and we'll be talking about my latest book, Seized by Sekhmet, an Egyptian Goddess Revolution, and we'll be talking also about my other book, Dying for the Light, and my near-death experience back in 1989. And we're going to talk about all kinds of things that are going on, and you'll love Sheila. So if you haven't tuned into her show, that is every Thursday night, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern Time. And I will be her guest this Thursday, October 11th. Really looking forward to that. And thank you, Sheila, for having me on. Now, with that being said, we are going to bring on our guest. Let me give you a little bit of background. I mean, if I gave you all of his background, it would probably take our 2 hours of our show today. So I'm just going to give you brief basics about our guest. He's Dr. Raymond A. Keller II. He's a retired history professor, currently serving as an AmeriCorps Vista at In Touch and Concerned, a United Way agency providing accessible and affordable transportation options for persons with disabilities, seniors, and veterans in Monongalia, I probably didn't say that right, County, West Virginia. And he has recently come out with his second book, Venus Rising, A Concise History of the Second Planet, which I am holding in my hand right now. This book is a beautiful book. It's beautifully written, and he explores many facets of conditions in life on Venus and many dimensions from a perspective of conspiracies and history and theosophy and ufology and current events, and especially space research. He also, and they won 2 awards. He won 2 awards with this book, and that is through the Southern California, at both the Southern California and London United Kingdom book festivals. And he has a beautiful introduction with Dr. Leo Sprinkle. So I'm holding it in my hands. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's easy to read, and it has so many facts. It's like it feels like a Bible in a way. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Raymond.
Thank you, Barbara Jean. It's a great pleasure to be on your program to address your audience.
Thank you. And can I call you Raymond or Dr. Keller? What would you prefer?
Oh, Ray is fine.
Ray. Okay, Ray. So we're going to start. I'd like to, I know you have 2 other books that you've written too, Cosmic Rays, Excellent Venus Adventure, and The Final Countdown Rockets to Venus. So we can jump off anywhere you like, if there's something you want to start with, or we can talk about how you got into all of your work that you've done for over 30 years, maybe longer.
Oh, yes. I began in 1967. I was on a camp out and coming back in Walton Hills, Ohio, when a friend and I saw a disc-shaped object about 1,000 feet above a railroad trestle. And it really sparked my interest in flying saucers, and I began to write a column for the Bedford Times Register. And I was also the editor of my school newspaper, the Fourth Estate, in high school in Bedford, Ohio, Bedford Senior High. So I interviewed Earl Neff, the director of the Cleveland Ufology Project, and they helped us to finance a publication of a UFO newsletter magazine called the Flying Saucer Report. And it wasn't long before we were trading copies, publications with groups all over the world. Gabriel Green's Amalgamated Flying Saucer Clubs of America in Los Angeles, Jean Duplantier's Saucer Space and Science in Willowdale, Ontario, Canada, UFO Research Queensland, and then Gray Barker's Saucerian Press in Clarksburg, West Virginia. So I began to travel around around the country, at least the eastern states at first, and then later to California, and then the world, as I met more and more ufologists and contactees and UFO experiencers of various types.
And in that, how did you get into Venus in the book that I have in my hand? One of the things that you write is that we all have probably experienced frequent encounters with Venusians without even realizing it.
Yes, one of the first books that I read was George Adamski's Flying Saucers Have Landed, and that was originally written back in 1953, and then he wrote two other books, Inside the Spaceships and Flying Saucers Farewell, that have to deal with the UFO phenomena and encounters with Venusians and other extraterrestrials. So that got me interested in the contactee enigma.
Mm-hmm. And
I began to read other authors, and then when I got out to California, I specifically sought out Gabriel Green and other contactees to find out what the scoop was for myself.
Yeah, well, just go right to the source, right? Direct source is always the best way. Yeah, I have one of Adamski's books I found at a garage sale, and I just loved it. And you probably know my history with owning the Integratron for 5 years, from 2000 to 2005. And so I loved having some time with Daniel Green myself, with a group of teenagers at his home. And an amazing man.
Oh yes. He's wonderful, and certainly if anybody has any questions about outer space and our friendly brothers and sisters of other planets, he's definitely the one to go to.
And so with this, so can you tell us about any of your personal experiences? That's kind of what we do on the show. I have people call in and they'll say a personal experience, an extraordinary experience that they might have had that was a catalyst for change into this world, shall we call it?
Well, back in 1987, as the co-director of OSIRIS, Outer Space International Research and Investigations Society in New Mexico, I published the New Millennial Star, and it was over 200 consecutive issues, and we had 14 chapters worldwide. So I would travel to different chapters and talk to membership and so forth. And I came up to the group in Utah, in Murray, Utah, and we were taking an excursion to Mount Shasta, and I'd never been to Mount Shasta before. We met with the Reverend Clayton Parker, and he said that we would have some wonderful experiences up there, and that we would meet an ascended master. So, we took him at his word for it, and we had a lot of experiences with synchronicity of a sort on the way up there. So anytime, this is kind of like a sidebar here, that anytime you experience synchronicity in your life, I think that the universe is trying to tell you that you're going in the right direction, and just keep it up. So we were very excited about that. And then we got to the base of Mount Shasta in the parking area, and and then Reverend Parker, who was 87 years old, he told us we had to go the rest of the way ourselves. Just keep following that trail, he said. And so we did. There was 7 of us, and beside myself, and we followed this trail and came to a point above the tree line. There was an outcropping of rocks there, and a spring coming from the base of the rocks, and we decided to rest, take a rest, and then there was like a glinting of sunlight, and it kind of caught everybody's attention, and then like a big flash of light, and a woman appeared who identified herself as Lady Ankara, and she said that she was there to answer our questions about flying saucers, that she knew why we were there, and she was going to answer our questions. She was wearing a white jumpsuit with gold trim, and she had light brown hair with kind of a reddish tint. And we asked her various questions, and it's about 3 hours.
Wow.
And she told us that we were standing in an interdimensional vortex, that we were bilocated on both Mount Shasta and a point on the planet Balaton, which is in the Sirius star sector. And she told us that if we looked up the side of the mountain, we would be able to see these manted beings, and they were about 5 to 15 feet long. And she said that, and I said, well, what are we looking at? What kind of life form is this? And she said that they were the original inhabitants of Balaton, but that there were colonists there from throughout the galaxy, and that she was with the Venusian colony there on Balaton, that it was a planet about 3 times the size of the Earth. It was mostly mountainous, and it was about 2/3 land and a third water, but it was all fresh water. And it had 3 moons, and it was ruled by, their colony was ruled by a matriarchy, and they lived in longhouses, these like communal longhouses, and the women ruled the society because they were the only ones that could communicate with the mansions. They could they controlled the stargates throughout the galaxy, and they would put their left hand on the forehead of the mansions, and they could request them to open up portals and transmit them anywhere throughout the universe instantaneously, and that that where we were standing on Mount Shasta was a key portal for teleportation between the star systems.
Was that Panther Meadows there? Do you know?
Yes, that's what Rob was saying, that he identified Rob Potter. He identified that as being the name of the location.
Yeah. I've spent some time on Mount Shasta. Not enough, though.
Oh, well, it was exciting. I went back there the second time just this year. I was up there with Rob and with Omnek Onek. We were there for the From Venus with Love conference at the end of July.
Oh, yeah, we had Rob on last week, Rob Potter, and he's the one that introduced me to you and said, you must have Ray on your show. And so I'm coincidental or coincidences, right, that you're here and it's all happening. And I'm just really glad to have you here. And we've been going to Mount Shasta for, 20 years or so, and some extraordinary experiences there, but nothing compares to your story you just are talking about.
Well, one of the most amazing things about this incident was that Kay Studstrup, who was the coordinator of the local chapter of OSIRIS, she had the meetings in her home in Murray, Utah. She asked if she could take a picture of us with at the whole group with Lady Ankara, and Lady Ankara said, "Yeah, that would be fine, no problem." So she took this picture, and when we were going to have it developed at a photo mat when we got back to the Salt Lake area, Salt Lake City, and when the photo came out, we were all in the OSIRIS chapter was all in the picture, huddled around. But Lady Ankara wasn't anywhere to be seen in the picture. It's just like the light went right through her, like she was opaque,
like vibrating at a different level, right? They couldn't catch it.
A much lighter density.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really amazing. And when we got back, Clayton said, "Do you know who that was?" And we said, "No. Who was that?" And he said that was a woman that was originally from the Earth. Her name was Annalise Guerin, and she was born in the late 19th century. And she and Clayton were only a year apart, and Clayton was one of her original disciples and one of the people that defended her. She was being excommunicated from the Latter-day Saint Church because she wasn't saying anything that the male hierarchy was saying, but the fact that maybe she was an outspoken woman, they couldn't abide by that, unfortunately. Well, Clayton and those that were defending her, they ended up getting excommunicated too. So that was really unfortunate. But that's how they became acquainted and became good friends. So ever since then, I've been reading everything I can written by Annalise Guerin. She wrote 9 books.
How do you spell her name?
Annallee, and then Skarin, Skarin. And she was known to have become a translated being on top of Mount Shasta. And Clayton had witnessed her ascension.
I know when Rob was on the show last week, he was talking about the Queen of Venus. And can you go into that a little bit, or would that be a good segue into that, or where do you want to?
Oh yes, there's many beings on Venus who have lived on Earth previously, and as George Adamski once explained, we go from grace to grace, from incarnation to incarnation, from planet to planet, and we rise to celestial glories. And this is what Annalise was in my work, I've come across many Venusians who are more or less naturalized Venusians. You know, like we have naturalized citizens of the United States. They come from the Earth or other planets, but now they're working on Venus, and they've been translated there, and they've adapted to conditions, planetary conditions on Venus. Well, just recently in Pennsylvania, there was a meeting out in the woods. I was giving a talk on the. This is in northwest Pennsylvania, and I was invited to come there and introduce my two new Venus books, Final Countdown, Rockets to Venus, and Cosmic Rays, Excellent Venus Adventure. And so I was setting up, and there was a big commotion going on, and these two women appeared, and they were wearing red berets with, they had gold and diamond beads, like pendants on these berets, and these kind of like yoga pants. They looked like or ski pants of some kind, and these black jackets and sandals and red sashes, and they really looked impressive. One was Lady Aurora. She identified herself as Lady Aurora, and she was from Rishikesh, India, originally. And she was born in 1880 during the time of the British Raj. And another one was there as well, identified as Lady Columba, and she was from Philadelphia. She was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, at the turn of the century, but they looked like teenagers. And I mean, I know it sounds astounding, but there was a gentleman there that snapped a picture. There were two pictures of them caught walking around the site, and then I invited them up to the platform, and so there was a picture of them up at the platform, and so I mean these kind of things happen all the time. As you mentioned, the integratron, and in a lot of the articles that I write, for example, in the Phantoms and Monsters.com, Lon Strickler's site, I often publish, and then on Rob's pages, I publish pictures from the 1950s that nobody's ever seen, ever seen before, that I have access to from various files, like Autobinder and Roberts. I have their original photos, files, from the Quantum Sorcery Board, and the New Millennial Star, and Gabriel Green, and other people. And so I haven't thrown any of this away, and so I gradually release this in my books or in my writings. And so I have pictures that people haven't seen before of some Venusians that I've met, like one commonly known as Dolores Barrios, and another one was Evelyn Smith, who was known as Aura Reigns. And so, you know, when you get my books, or check Rob's ThePromiseRevealed.com, you can see these pictures. And then I have it in the Venus Rising, A Concise History of the Second Planet. The last chapter is God's Experience, and I give the biographies of Annalise Guerin and Dolores Barrios. And then there's also there's three pictures that have never been seen before Dolores Barrios, the Queen of Venus. And they've never been seen before or published before. And two of them are with me. So you have to get the third book. But as you read all the Venus books, you can see some pretty amazing stuff and learn some amazing facts. And everything is documented. There's probably in the three books, there's at least over 1,000 footnotes. So it's all well documented, Chicago manual style. It's for real. It's for real. It's not as my friend Omnek would say, Omnek Onek, the ambassador from Venus, she might say, it's not science fiction.
Yeah, you can't make this up, right? It's just is.
You can't make this kind of stuff up.
Well, I did see one of the pictures of a Venusian ship hovering over giant rock, and I had not seen that photo before in your book. And I've seen a lot of them being, involved in the Integratron for all those years and going there. And when my friend Janie Newell, who's been on the show before, and she does light language from Venusian Tria that she met at the Integratron, and she was so excited to see that photo. I sent it to her on the phone, and so your book does have all this beautiful photography and also the backup. So you're not just making this up, and you have the proof, and so it's an impressive book, and seeing the ships and some of the images and to see some of the old images of Adamski, I felt like a kid going back in Christmas to see some of these, and I'm so glad they're saved.
My most avid audience are senior citizens like myself, but also young people.
Mm-hmm.
Young people are very, very fascinated with all of this from the flying saucer age. And it was a very important time because as a species we entered the space age and the atomic age. And so we're on the dawn of a new reality, a new way of living. And this is why the Venusians are here to help and guide us to keep us on the right track.
Mm-hmm. And so I think you wrote in here somewhere that Adamski and Van Tassel and those were kind of the first wave. And would you consider yourself the second wave of that baton to keep the movement going?
Oh, yes, I would. I felt that it was very important. I know that you have had a near-death experience yourself,
mm-hmm.
and I was having some heart trouble, and I felt that I needed to get this Venus information that I've collected and worked with into print or to write a book, even if it didn't get printed during my lifetime. I needed to get this done before I passed on, and I had open heart surgery, quadruple bypass surgery, just like Bill Clinton had, at the VA hospital in Pittsburgh 3 years ago. And while I was out, they actually took my heart out of my body to work on it, and I was hooked up to a artificial lung and everything, and to keep me going while they cleaned out my heart. But while I was out and I had an experience, I found myself in a ring of light suspended above the earth, and there was a gentleman that appeared looking like an Italian nobleman, and he identified himself as my higher self. And all I could see was this ring of light, and we were wanted to go back to Earth and finish the Venus book, or just go back to my home on Venus. So I said, well, I'll go and finish these books, because that's what I came to Earth to do, and that's why I wrote these books.
And so you're an ambassador from Venus. Would that be a way to say that, or?
Well, I think of myself more as a historian. I have a degree. I have a degree in history about the African diaspora in the Americas, in Venezuela, and the Afro-Zulians, the history of the Afro-Zulians. That's my first book. That was published by Millen Press. That was my dissertation at West Virginia University, and they were brought over by a Basque sea captain named Juan de Churio in 1722 to northwest part of Venezuela near the Colombian border. And so that was my background in history. So I had applied my skills as a historian to write these Venus books, because I felt that was very, very, very important to do.
Yeah, with that expertise, you can, out of, I don't know how many people can write a concise history of the second planet. And you have done that. It must feel good to finally finish it, and unless they've given you another task, like, okay, I'm done with this, and then I'm going home. Okay, I'm done with this, and I'm going home,
Well, what inspired me also was the work of Helena Blavatsky, because I'm a lifelong member of the Theosophical Society, and Helena Blavatsky, the co-founder of the Theosophical Society, one of her first writings was entitled History of a Planet. Now, that was written in 1877, and it was all about Venus and what we knew about Venus back then with esoteric knowledge. But I felt that so much more has come to light about Venus from the UFO experiencers and the scientific community, the artistic community, and so forth, that a new history of the second planet needed to be written. And that's why the book is entitled A Concise History of the Second Planet.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. And, I live right near Pasadena, where her Theosophical Society is still there from the original here in Pasadena. I haven't been there, but I'm going to go.
Oh, yes, I would highly recommend research into the archives of the Theosophical Society, the nearest branch, wherever you happen to be, for all the listeners out there. As a theosophist, we hold to the philosophy that we can learn anything from various disciplines and science, history, philosophy, comparative religion, and that as a species, we have powers within us that have yet to be developed. Of course, we're all aware of the five senses, but Helena Blavatsky had said that, we probably have at least 22 or more. We could think of like extrasensory perception,
telepathy,
clairaudience, telekinesis, bilocation, to name a few.
And those are where the most fun are, don't you think? We're missing out on all the fun.
Yes. kind of interesting about the European Venus Express probe is that they said, well, life probably, well, from all that they told us so far, they said life has existed on Venus in paradisiacal conditions for some 2 billion years. So life evolved on Venus much sooner than it did on Earth. And here on Earth, our paleontologists that are just aware of sentient life of hominid nature going back 2.5 million years with Lucy and the Leakeys and the Olduvai Gorge, Ethiopia and everything. But can you imagine 2 billion years? What a great jump that the Venusians have had on us.
Yeah.
So even as the conditions on the surface had deteriorated, which they aren't really that bad, there was plenty of time for the Venusians to ascend to other dimensions or other spatial realities, or to develop civilizations underground or in hollowed asteroids, or colonize other planets. And I look at the history of various peoples on Earth, various nations and tribes, and the Venus connection that's apparent in all of them. These Venus books, are scratching the surface of a subject that needs to be further developed and researched.
And you write in your book about that Martians established Atlantis in the Atlantic Ocean and Venusians established Lemuria in the Pacific Ocean. Can you talk briefly about that?
Oh, yes. This information came to us courtesy of a gentleman from Philadelphia whose name was Albert Coe, and as a young man, as a teenager in the right after World War I, he had traveled up to Canada with a friend, and he encountered a disc-shaped object, a Venusian scout craft, what the Venusians call a pentla, or a swoop. When you see one, when you see a Venusian scout ship, you're going to notice that it's kind of, swooping back and forth. It has this kind of arcing motion in the sky. Madeline Rotifer took a film of one in motion before George Dansky died in Silver Springs, Maryland, in April of 1965. The Venusians showed up at her home where Dansky was staying, and she photographed one. But anyway, this one Venusian named Zret was on board the scout ship, and he had gone to this lake in Canada to do some fishing, and he stumbled and fell down this cliffside, and was slightly bruised, but he was calling for help, and Albert Coe heard him, and fortunately was in the area, and so he went to help Zret out, and they went over to his scout ship, and he showed him around, and then later on they became fast friends, and with other Venusians, and his home became a sort of safe house for the Venusians as they were visiting in the Philadelphia area on the East Coast, and everything that Albert Coe had learned, he had written it down, and one of his close friends was also also a friend of mine, and so the information about the Venusians originally coming from a planet called Norca in the Tau Ceti system, and their activities on Earth and their various colonies and everything. All that information about Lemuria and Atlantis and the various rogue elements and that all comes from Albert Coe.
Oh, and Egyptian, a relationship to Egypt, northern Egypt and southern Egypt. I had never thought of it like that at all. So there's so much to learn in your book, the history of this. So, and it's controversial, which is we're going to make it more mainstream, right?
Oh yes, I think it already is. So I feel very, very happy about the enlightenment and enthusiasm that's been generated about Venus because of these books. Because we have to penetrate this cloud of secrecy that's been over Venus since the early 1960s, or even the late 1950s by NASA and some of the powers that be, because I call NASA never a straight answer.
I love that. I hadn't heard that before, and I read that in your book, and I thought, oh, I'm going to use that from now on. and really, I mean, even more than the moon and any other planet or object in space, there's been about 40-some space probes that have been sent to Venus. That's more than any other orb in space. Mm. And they're trying to tell us that it's a dead, lifeless world. It's too hot for anything to live there. The atmosphere is toxic and everything. But I go to all the records of all the space powers, not just the United States, Russia, the European Union, and Japan with the Akatsuki probe, and show all the evidence for life existing on Venus in the physical realm, not just an etheric realm, because Venus has life in many different aspects, many different dimensions. But I show physical proof through these Venus books, not only for the contacts with the individuals here on Earth, but with scientific data and information that can be authenticated. And in this too, it's I love. We only have like a few minutes left before the break. Would you like to talk about what does a Venusian look like, and what would we expect if we were to see one? How would we know them? Is their vibration different, or is it higher? Do they look more? I think you said more beautiful, and they walk among us all the time and have for how many years?
Oh yes. Yes, you could, Paul Hellyer, the former defense minister in Canada, during the Pearson administration in 1963 through 1967, he said that he was aware that there were, besides Venusians, that there were some 80 species of extraterrestrials that were here on the Earth, that were living and working among us. Venusians are the most abundant, however, because, of course, Venus is the nearest planet with indigenous life to the Earth. It's only 26 million miles away at its closest approach, which in cosmic terms is really nothing to speak of. And so the Venusians are here, and they've been here for countless millennia. And your next door neighbor
Mm-hmm. Or I could be one, or you could be, you feel that you are one, right?
Oh yes, I feel that I'm one, and I learned that we're all ascending through planetary spheres, and that we incarnate after so many, after 12 or 13 incarnations, then we go on to the next higher sphere. But some from other planets, especially those involved with light work, like yourself, Barbara, and some of your listeners, they may be here on Earth as volunteers. They may have come here, or you may have come here for the specific reason of helping in the cosmic ascension and of the planet Earth. Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to say, after reading your book, I feel Venusian, but because of all the love thing, that's what I talk about. It's all about the love. It's just real simple. Well, let's just get back to this love thing. We'll be okay. And it's not in a hippy dippy out there way. There's a real power to that.
Oh yes, and it's the very simple things in life that really redeem us as a people, because we do have a great potential. We have a great destiny here on Earth, and eventually we will be part of a greater galactic community. The Galactic Federation of Light has 51 member planetary systems, and if we can survive this present age and live in peace one with another, we'll be gladly welcome to be a part of it. Remember that it says in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2, that we should always be kind to one another. For know ye not that ye entertain angels unawares.
That's beautiful. I like that. Well, your whole book is just amazingly beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, and it's just so important, because I felt that well, of course, the universe is a big place, and there are rogue elements, and there are some nasty creatures out there that don't mean us the best. Even Paul Hellyer, he did say that. He said that maybe about 20% of them, but the Venusians have been like guardian angels, watching over us and helping us and trying to enforce the non-interference directive on our planet, so that we could keep our autonomy and develop on our own, so that we could be a part of this greater galactic community. But yes, the majority of extraterrestrials are really in the light and mean us well.
They do. They seem to have our best interest at heart. I know that I don't know if you met Ray Hernandez and his work with his the science of consciousness in contact with non-human intelligence, and with the Free Organization, and he talks about that majority, I don't know what the exact fact is, but about that they're here to help. And in a very skeptical way, you can say that.
Yes. So it's a lot of work that we have to do to overcome the fear and paranoia that's out there. And one of the things that I really like about Dr. Leo Sprinkle from the University of Wyoming and his long work in ufology is that he has worked to bring to the attention of people out there that the hope and the promise of extraterrestrial contact, rather than just dwelling on the fear.
Mm-hmm. And that love can replace fear, kick its butt, right? We need that. We can't give up hope, right? And it can come down so intensely that you get popped out of yourself and take it seriously.
Oh yes, and I mean there's a lot of paranoia out there about various things and the political situation here on Earth, but
listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. We'll be right back.
And they want to change individuals one heart at a time.
I like that. We're heading to our break now, Dr. Keller, and when we come back, I'd love to talk about your thoughts on Nikola Tesla, being a Venusian and Jesus Venusian, and then we'll let you take it wherever you want to go from here. Does that sound good?
Okay, so cosmic cultures, which may mean that the Earth will be asked to join the prestigious Galactic Federation of Light Alliances. Please join Debbie West and Michael Hathaway on Lost Knowledge, Saturdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Studio A, for the latest breaking news on the Star Visitors' peaceful contact and the ongoing project of cleansing the Earth.
Who are you? I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you. Why am I here? You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision, which has led you inexorably here. You haven't answered my question. The Matrix is older than you know. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equation. Choice. The problem is choice.
Right here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Be here Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for Private Eye Matrix Revealed with Monique Lassard.
Hello, my name is Mr. Rowe. I am the host of Reality Extraction on Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. I utilize logic, intellect, and magic to methodically autonomize, vivisect, analyze, examine, study, scrutinize, and extract an essence of reality from a fog of illusion and confusion. You can find me on Studio B every Thursday at 1700 hours Pacific Time. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. No topic taboo, no subject too strange. I strive to take a neutral standpoint during the dissection of the topic at hand. That's Reality Extraction with Mr. Rowe on Revolution Radio.
This is Thomas, a.k.a. a Mad Painter. I'd like you to join me Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Open Canvas. Don't forget to bring an open mind.
Yes, folks, that's right. Bring an open mind to an open canvas. Again, that is Monday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. UFOs to government corruption. This is Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
Thanks for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we are listener-sponsored and commercial-free. But there still are bills to pay. In order to raise some needed funds to cover the cost, our station is offering a silver special. In the continental United States for a $60 donation, or in Alaska, Hawaii, or Canada for a $70 donation, we will send you an uncirculated 2018 1-ounce pure silver eagle. The $70 donation, the extra 10 is to cover shipping, by the way, outside of the continental United States. When making the donation, you must put Silver Eagle promo in the notes on the donation. And thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at revolution.radio and freedomslips.com. Without you, there is no us. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
Collision Course is back. Schedule will be on Revolution Radio every Saturday night, 6 to 8 p.m. You get outer space. You get honest answers, real researchers, truthful answers, and a place to engage with questions. Take part in the discussion. Revolution Radio on freedomslips.com hosts Collision Course every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Thank you for tuning back in to the Cosmic Oracle Show. This is your host, Barbara Jean Lindsey, and thank you for giving your donations to keep us on the air. And continue to give those donations, please, by going to freedomslips.com and push that donate button and give whatever you can, $5, $10, and it's really easy. Just hit that button and make a donation, and it really helps keeping us here live on Revolution Radio and getting our truth out with we have total freedom to talk about whatever we want. And so we would like to welcome Dr. Raymond A. Keller back to the show. And Raymond is also going to be speaking at Stargate to the Cosmos. My good friend Janet Lesson and her husband Dr. Sasha Lesson, are putting together an amazing conference, and you can find out more information about that by going to stargatetothecosmos.org. That's stargatetothecosmos.org, and Dr. Keller will be speaking there. I will also be speaking there, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing event. So don't miss it. It's still, you can get your tickets and meet us there, and we'll talk to you in person, and you can get your book signed by Dr. Keller, Venus Rising. So welcome back to the show, Ray.
Thank you, Barbara Jean. Much appreciated.
And we left off with talking about Tesla and Jesus, so that they are Venusians. Can we just pop into that arena, if you'd like?
Oh, yes. Now, Nikola Tesla, he, of course, the great electronic wizard that he was, he had a great fascination with the planet Venus, and also with bees and doves that are intimately connected with Venus that I describe in the book. The original on Nikola Tesla and the Venusian connection was done by Margaret Storm. She wrote a biography of Tesla in 1959 of an esoteric nature called Return of the Dove. And Nikola Tesla first became concerned with Venus in 1898 when he built a Tesla scope. It's a kind of radio set for communications with other planets. And then he made several versions of it and tested them throughout the years until 1938. But in his first communications in 1898 with Venus, he heard these buzzing sounds similar to those that you'd hear coming out of a beehive, and it struck him as something more than just static. He specifically identified it with bees, especially since the Kabbalists, Sufis, Cathars, and seekers of esoteric knowledge throughout the ages have intimately associated bees with the planet Venus. And Tesla studied a lot about ancient legends of various societies with respect to bees, and he gave a rare interview when he was 68 years old with John B. Kennedy for Collier's magazine, and that was in 1926. It was on the 30 January 1926 issue of Collier's magazine, and he was projecting about the future when women would be more empowered. And that article was entitled "When Woman is Boss: An Interview with Nikola Tesla." And he said the perfect organization of society is a matriarchy run by a beehive. And he broke down the structure of bees and how the hive is organized and operated. And said that this is a model that we could borrow from the bees and from the Venusians, because the bees are an indigenous form of life on Venus. And so I do look at bees in the Sufi tradition, the Cathars, the Merovingians, the Romans, and different societies. I know you had mentioned before about Egypt, and you probably know about Inanna, the bee goddess. I think. So there definitely is a connection there. One of the synchronicities that's really important between Venus and bees. I don't want to get too technical about it, but Venus is closer to the sun than the Earth. So for every orbit of Venus is going to be shorter than an orbit of Earth. But it's always in a direct ratio to a Fibonacci number. So for every 8 orbits of Venus, there's exactly 5 of the Earth. For every 13 orbits of Venus, there'll be 8 of the Earth. So this is direct Fibonacci relationship. And then for every beehive, the number of bees in the hive is always going to be a Fibonacci number. The reason for that is because of the way that bees go into great detail mathematically to explain how that happens. And then the waggle dance of the bees is like in a Fibonacci number, or is in a grand spiral. And then I show the crop circles where the grand spiral or the golden spiral is displayed, and then I indicate that this is a Venusian calling card to let people know that the Venusians have been here. So crop circles aren't just meaningless iconography, that they actually signify something very important to us. And those with the grand spiral that's formed by graphing the Fibonacci sequence are indicative of a Venusian presence in the area.
Huh. I do have to say, when I had my near-death experience, when I came back, the symbol that I would draw was a double spiral. That's the only symbol. So maybe that's something with the Venusian connection there.
Oh yes, that would definitely be Venusian. And in my Venus books, I show different iconography throughout history with insectoids, especially bees and so forth, or mantids. And I have an Egyptian funerary text that I call the Golab Stargate, and some other items that show connections with bees and other insects on other planets. So these are very important. It's not just the humanoids that are intelligent species on other planets, and we should be very careful here on our own planet about how we take care of this world, because we're entrusted by the infinite Creator with maintaining this world, and we have a stewardship responsibility for all the life on this planet. And I think people would be surprised the level of intelligence and sophistication that other creatures, even on our own world, have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that needs to be said, and that we don't. We're not number one, right? Where did we get that thinking? Who started that?
Well, in my Venus books, I say a Venusian might put it this way: if there is such a thing as the highest form of evolution on Earth, it certainly could not be represented by the one species that is in danger of wiping itself out and the entire planet along with it.
Yeah.
So, sometimes our fellow citizens of the galaxy, they look at us as humanoids here on Earth as a kind of circular firing squad.
But with great potential, right?
Right. We just have to step it up a little bit.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
We have to, get out of the ostrich syndrome.
Yeah, get our head out of the dirt, right? And
right, and start looking for it. And don't peck on the ground like the chickens, but soar like an eagle.
Right, get off your knees while you're at it, right? It's right, David Icke says.
You got it.
And so if we could talk a little bit about Jesus being a Venusian, I found that when I was reading about that, I loved reading about that.
Oh, yes, the different references in the Bible to the evening and the morning star, and then Jesus' self-identification with Venus, and end of the book of Revelation. I think it's 22:16, where it said, "I am the bright and morning star, the offspring of David, or the root of Jesse, the offspring of David." And so this identification with Venus, the Apostle Peter said to let the morning star rise in your heart, and then I go into a biblical and theosophical search of the scriptures, a look at the Archangel Michael and associations with the planet Venus, not only in Judeo-Christian tradition, but in Zoroastrianism and the Roman Empire, and all kinds of references.
And in this too, you write about that there's another shift coming, a shift in consciousness, increasing frequency and of our energy, and that this is not only happening here on the Earth, but also throughout the galaxy and the cosmos.
Oh yes, about I have a section in there on the starseed activation, and I have a section there where you can look at various aspects of yourself. It's kind of like a checklist, and you look at your extraterrestrial EQ, your extraterrestrial quotient. So you look at physical, emotional, experiential, mystical, metaphysical, and psychic development. So you ask yourself certain questions, and you can more or less assess your progress.
That looks good.
So I'm going to switch telephones.
Okay.
Here real quick, because I got a little beeping noise.
Okay.
Going. Just been switch the phone.
We're gonna level up. It seems like everyone hold on to your seatbelts because we're gonna level up.
Okay, I'm on the other phone.
Okay, fantastic.
Good for another hour.
Yay! Well, and we talked during the break about Valiant Thor. Have we talked about him? Do you want to talk about him a little bit or more, with Jeff Brent?
Yeah, no problem. Recently, a lot of people were asking me because I was on with Craig Campobasso and Julia Stranges on Timothy Green Beckley's program to discuss some of the documents that I released from my Venus files, to include photographs from Howard Menger's High Bridge, New Jersey farm. They're on the Rents.com, and these are never before seen pictures, and it was on that the day when Valiant Thor and his crew showed up there, and with various people and Menger's family and visitors to the farm, they reported that some Venusians had jumped like 15 feet into the air over a fence, and I have their pictures and dematerialization, a photo where Howard Menger and Connie are dematerializing in front of the camera and turning into blobs of light, and all these photos have August C. Roberts' official stamp on the back, plus his typed comments. So I included those. You can go on the site and check it out. And then I also have the photos taken by Madeline Rotifer, who was Adamski's friend when he was passed away in April of 1965. George Adamski was at her home in Silver Springs, Maryland, and right before before he died, Valiant Thor's scout craft appeared over Madeline Rutherford's home, and she took a motion picture of it. So I had the frames of it, and then a letter from Madeline Rutherford, and then some photos also of that particular photo of Valiant Thor's ship shows the scout craft looks more elongated than it usually does on one end because the force field is being engaged. So it's an ionization of the atmosphere around it on the one side of the ship. So it looks kind of like the air is kind of warped around it, like an energy field. And then another picture was taken over Egypt, over the Great Pyramid, on the 19th anniversary of George Dempsey's contact with the Orthon in the California desert, which that original contact was November 20th, 1952. So 19 years later, Arlene Cheney, who was the prophetess of a group called Astara, went to the Great Pyramid to have this fire initiation ceremony inside. While she was inside, the scout ship, Venusian scout ship of Valiant Thor, materialized over the capstone of the pyramid. So a picture was taken of the ship at the exact time that Arlene Cheney began the initiation ceremony inside. So I have the picture of Arlene Cheney, and she's surrounded by this golden aura of light while she's raising her hands in this ceremony. So it's really cool.
Wow. And that's in a new book that you're going to have coming out soon.
Yeah, that's going to be in this new book that's coming out. But you can also see it on Jeff Rentz's site.
Is it jeffrentz.com or?
Yeah, just rents.com, and then what?
And is that RENSE.com or?
Or if you just type Raymond Keller, Rents Radio.
Raymond Keller.
It should take you there, and there's some articles there.
Okay.
That have these original pictures.
Huh.
So a lot of connections there. These are from the Auto Binder. They were originally in the Auto Binder files. Now, Auto Binder was a comic book and science fiction writer, but he was also an early ufologist, and he was co-writing a book with August C. Roberts, who was the photographer and the journalist at the Mentor Farm when Valiant Thor and the crew appeared. He's the one who took the original pictures.
Wow.
Auto Binder created the comic book, over 200 comic book characters, including Miss Marvel and Supergirl.
Huh. I saw that in your book, and the girl, his daughter, looks just like Supergirl.
oh yeah. Auto Binder's daughter. She died in an accident. A drunk driver came by the high school when the school was over, and that inspired him to create all these female superheroes. So he was an early feminist advocate.
Well, speaking of superhero goddess women power, I understand there's a new queen. Can you talk about that on Venus?
Oh yes. Now, in the Venus Rising: A Concise History of the Second Planet, in that book, I tell about Catalina Arasa. She was born in the Basque Country in Spain, northern Spain, the Pyrenees area, in 1585, and her parents had placed her and her sisters on the way there, she encountered an angel, and she didn't know it at the time, but the angel granted her an immortality. And so we follow her life on the Iberian Peninsula into the New World, and then up where she had actually become a female conquistador. And when she got to the New World, she was looking for her brother, and she had some bad experiences, and she had to fight off some attackers, and she had since become a defender of women and children, and being immortal, and she roamed the Americas and was in a mission in California in the 19th century when she re-encountered this angel again, who took her to Venus, and then she came back to the Earth in 1946 after her training on Venus, and she is I won't tell you too much about it, other than that the woman who appeared at the convention, Georgia, in Mount Palomar, California, on the 7th and 8th of August of 1954, at the Palomar Flying Saucer Convention with George Adamski, Truman Bethurham, and Daniel Fry. That going by the name was a dress designer by the name of Dolores Barrios. That was Catalina. And so the pictures that you see in there of her, you'll recognize her immediately. But you could read her true story and her ascension to becoming the queen of outer space, the queen of Venus.
It's pretty amazing. It's what you've explored and what you've done and brought all this together in one place. You know, it could take a lifetime to do, for sure.
Oh yes, well, it's very interesting, and I know it. You know, it sounds so incredible to believe. That's why I document everything. And well, you know, even if people don't believe it, it'll make them think, and they'll find it entertaining at least, and definitely enlightening.
And can have them grow and change and see where they go from there. And one of the things I remember I've read that they have a name that the Venusians call our planet Earth.
There's various names for the Earth, but I think you're referring to our planet is generally referred to in space as Terra.
Yeah.
And the real name for Venus is Abahar, which is a word that means planet of the bees.
Oh, huh. That's beautiful. Well, we have a little bit of time. Is there anything that you would like that you feel compelled to talk about, Ray, that you'd like for our listeners that you know, that they might have a better idea of what it is to be Venusian?
Well, I'd like the listeners out there to please check out my book and explore their own Venus, their own Venus connections. You'll find a lot of leads and a lot of help in your search there. I hope that you'll gain a greater understanding of the role that Venus has development of the Earth and a higher consciousness here. And I think that you'll find the information to be very useful in developing those powers that have remained latent in you, or you may be aware of it, but perhaps the Venusian connection might spark your consciousness and activities to heighten levels of contact and awareness.
I like that. Is there certain things that they can do as meditation, or anything that let's say some of the listeners say, I really want to connect with the Venusians. How do I do that? What's the best way of contact in a safe way?
I think that when we're the best way is that I have found is that when we kind of lose ourselves in service to humankind, that generally the Venusians will be there. They'll show up and they'll be helping us. So I think it's when I think Gandhi put it best is that one act of simple kindness is worth more than 1,000 prayers. So it's what we manifest in our physical life, in our stewardship here on Earth, to our fellow man and fellow creatures here on the Earth. When we're in the service to others, then we know that we're not alone.
Mm-hmm. And that's such a comfort that we're not alone, because I know once you have some of these extraordinary experiences, the first thing that happens usually is that you feel very isolated and very alone.
And the thing is that I don't unlike I don't mention any other names or anything, but I don't have any program or any church or anything like that. No cult to join or anything.
No tennis shoes, certain tennis shoes to wear.
Buy my Venus books and don't gain some insight and some enlightenment from it, because I'm not out to whatever religion that you happen to be in. Work to live up to the highest precepts of it. I'm not asking you to change anything, except to just have an open your heart up and be kind to one another.
And in your books, you have the final countdown, Rockets to Venus. Can you talk a little bit about that one? And then you have Cosmic Rays, Excellent Venus Adventure. And the one I have here on my desk is Venus Rising. And they're all available on Amazon. And so you can to our listeners, just go to Amazon.com. It's Raymond A. Keller. That's Keller. And you can take a look at them for yourselves. And can you talk a little bit about what's in the Rockets to Venus?
Yes, Rockets to Venus explores the various efforts of space agencies and governments and individuals here on Earth to contact the Venusians, whereas the first book has the Venusians contacting us. And then the third book, Cosmic Rays, Excellent Venus Adventure, explains about my own contacts with Venusians over the
we have another story from that? A personal, I love those. I know my listeners do. We're going to talk story, okay, Ray?
All right. Well, as far as the Cosmic Rays Excellent Venus Adventure, I start off with picking up on the Dolores Barrios from the first book, and then there's part of it is in Rockets to Venus as well, but I met her in 1972, and had met her a few times also at Gabriel Green's house, but it involves the last contact and most important one was in China. I was working in China as an English language instructor and a teacher at an international school in Wuxi, which is about 40 kilometers to the west of Shanghai. So I met her in Wuxi in a restaurant, and then later rendezvoused on top of the 11th floor of this apartment that I was living in, and we rode in a sphere. It's activated with a device called a nimbus, but I explain it all in the book because it's kind of technical. But I explain how it operates, and we flew over we flew across China to the west over the Tibetan Plateau and landed and rendezvoused, met Lady Ankara and some other Earthlings and Venusians to take a trip on board one of two motherships that had come there. We were going to Venus for a very important ceremony, and all the details of the ships and the ceremony and the Venusian city of Azure and the continent of Aphrodite, Terra, and everything is explained in detail in the not only in the first book but also in the more about what happened and where we went from there. It's in the third book, The Cosmic Rays Excellent Venus Adventure.
Well, I have to get those. And get the whole big story here. It's just it's not overwhelming, but it's just so much information to take in. It's kind of like you just want the download, and once you get this information, then you can work it into your everyday practical life, right?
Oh yes, and we're not that far away from a higher reality. If we just open ourselves up to it and reach out for the possibilities, and then doors will open up.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunities will present themselves.
And kind of like keeping the faith, if that would be maybe not faith is the word, but keeping the hope, keeping the energy up, keeping the vibration up, because we live on a planet, I mean, that's not so, it can be very dark at times. And so where we can, again, I think we talked about this earlier, give us hope that we can have joy and love and happiness and take care of our planet here at the same time, and make a real difference for the new generations to come.
Oh, that's right, Barbara. And Dr. Strange has explained that based on his conversations with Valiant Thor when they were in the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
And Valiant Thor explained that on Earth we still require faith or hope, but on Venus they live with various levels of spiritual realities, or different densities, different dimensions are interacting all the time. Even as Onek has explained in her books. So they don't need to live by faith, because they're living in what we would refer to as just a lighter density, what we would call a spiritual realm, for the lack of a better word. But they live it, so they don't need to hope for it or have faith in it, because it's already there.
They already know it as fact.
They know it, but we're still building. We're still building a world.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to make our world into a paradise.
Mm-hmm. And so Venusians,
like they say nowadays, make America great again. Well, the Venusians have already made Venus great. So here on Earth, we have a long way to go.
Yeah. So they're helping spark us to remember.
Right.
Huh.
They're empowering us.
Mm-hmm.
They're empowering us, and so the work that you do is very important. Not too many people are doing the kind of thing that you are doing. So it's very important.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, sometimes I wonder, what am I doing? I could, be making a whole bunch of money. No, just kidding. I have my priorities straight, though. Okay.
We'll be surprised when we study history and see what the power of one person could do. Because when we throw a pebble into a pond, it creates a ripple that goes on forever. And if we like Milrepa, he was one of the more famous sages and monks of the Mayana Buddhism. He said he was the first one to actually, wasn't Eleanor Roosevelt, but it was actually Milrepa who said that it's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness.
Yeah, I like that. And then I like where you light one candle and then that candle lights another candle and that candle lights another candle.
Right. So the revolution is not going to come about by violence or some mass political movement. It's just going to come as one heart changes at a time.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, Ray? I'm looking at your book here, and I didn't know this. I'm going to throw this out at the end of the show here. You're known as Cosmic Ray. Okay, how did that happen?
This is back in the days of, back in the early 1960s and being in the Cleveland Ufology Project and writing about flying saucers from my local hometown newspaper. And then my friend Michael Ridge and others started calling me the Cosmic Ray.
I like it.
There's a picture of me as a teenager with my friend holding up a photo of a Venusian scout craft of a flying saucer. It's in the National Enquirer. It's from 50 years ago, but it's on page 41 of Rockets to Venus.
Oh, cool.
Final countdown, Rockets to Venus. So you could see what I look like, and there's another picture of myself with Dolores Barrios, the Queen of Outer Space, when I was a teenager as well, out in California.
Well, so the Venusians have helped all of us then progress spiritually and uplift our awareness and our consciousness, and they've been here, and you expect them to continue to do their work with us.
Oh yes. They won't give up on us. It's not so, like, for the Venusians, it's not so much that important whether we believe in them or not, but they want us to believe in ourselves.
I like that. Yeah. And
when we can do that, then we'll see that they've been here all along.
And that a part of them maybe resides in each of us.
Oh yes. That brings to mind when Ray Bradbury wrote that book, The Martian Chronicles. At the end of the book, they're on a plateau on Mars where there's an ancient Martian city, but there's nobody there to be seen in the physical realm. And the children turn to their father, the Venusian or the Martian colonists, and they ask, well, where are the Martians? And then the father tells them to look into the canal. And they're looking in the water, and they see their reflection. And he says, "There's the
Martian." That's awesome. Well, and so what's the best way for people to get a hold of you, Ray, if they want to communicate with you or leave you a message or talk to you or have them on their show as well to speak?
Oh, okay. Well, my email is they can just send to my email, which is rkeller and then the number 1 at mix.wvu.edu.
Okay. Can you repeat that once more so people have their pens?
It's well, I'll give them an easier one.
Okay.
Just put aura, AURA _HQ at yahoo.com.
Beautiful. And then they can also look at are you on Facebook or website? What's your website?
Yes. I have a website. It's called VenusConciseHistory.com. But most of my articles, you can find a good many on Lon Strickler's PhantomsAndMonsters.com, Arweds.com, ThePromiseRevealed.com, UnarianWisdom.com. If you just go on Google and just type Keller Venus, you'll get pages and pages.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm well, you have a body of work, right?
Oh yes. There's so many articles out there too, beside the books. Venusian spaceships have landed, the vast Venus conspiracy, all kinds of articles, evolution of an enlightened ufologist, all kinds of articles that people can read, and the books, as you mentioned, they're fully illustrated, some in color, and I know Amazon has a thing, if you get all three of them, that there's it's a cheaper price.
Oh, good.
And I look forward to see you at the Albuquerque.
I am so stoked about that. I'm going to give you the biggest hug.
Well, I have some land out in New Mexico. I own 5 acres of land on Horse Mountain. It's overlooking the Very Large Array. It's in a little town called Datil, D-A-T-I-L.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I used to live in New Mexico, so I'll be going out there to my land as well.
Ooh.
And maybe if I don't know if it's at all possible, maybe you could take a group out there.
I would love to do that.
From the top of my land there on Horse Mountain, you can overlook the Very Large Array and see all the radio telescopes on the railroad tracks, and that's you could see my land in that movie called Contact with Jodie Foster.
Oh yeah.
Where she's sitting there at the end of the movie with a computer. She's sitting in front of a radio telescope, and you could see Horse Mountain is in the background.
That's awesome. I would love to do that. We have to talk after and see if we can set that up. I would love to do that.
And one of these days, my plan was from long ago. What to do with that land is to build a telescopic observatory up there.
That sounds perfect. Well, if anyone would like to donate that for you and make that happen, they can reach you, no problem, right?
Oh yes, they could do that.
Hey, we have to dream it to make it happen, though, right?
Yes, because my mentor George Adamski, when I think of him and the Palomar Gardens Cafe and everything, when he was working there as just a burger chef, to start off, but his dream was to that was just down the road from the 200-inch telescope on Mount Palomar. And I always thought that was so cool. And he just had a real small telescope. But I thought, I'm located near a radio telescope, National Radio Telescope Observatory. So it's just a really cool place to have a center where people can just come up there and look through a telescope or bring their own telescopes up there and look for Venusians.
Yeah, and the desert is such a perfect place for expansion.
Oh yeah, the desert is so mystical and wonderful, and from the ancient of days.
Listen to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
To contact the infinite. Even Jesus went into the desert for 40 days.
Oh, that's right. Well, thank you
you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. Any commercial advertising you may hear in this program is of the sole discretion and benefit of the host of whose program you are listening to. Revolution Radio does not endorse any commercial products, nor does it accept monetary compensation for on-air advertising of commercial products, nor will it ever. We are and shall remain 100% listener supported. Any product advertising on this program are considered used at higher risk, and Revolution Radio shall not be held liable for any claims or damages received from any product advertised within this program. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
Thanks for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we are listener-sponsored and commercial-free. But there still are bills to pay. In order to raise some needed funds to cover the cost, our station is offering a silver special. In the continental United States for a $60 donation, or in Alaska, Hawaii, or Canada for a $70 donation, we will send you an uncirculated 2018 1-ounce pure silver Eagle. The $70 donation, the extra 10 is to cover shipping, by the way, outside of the continental United States. When making the donation, you must put Silver Eagle promo in the notes on the donation. And thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at revolution.radio and freedomslips.com. Without you, there is no us. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
Take a look around, kid. What do you see? Homes being foreclosed. People working 2-3 jobs just to put food on the table and still drowning in debt. Don't get me wrong. This country is founded on great ideals and principles. They've all been ruined by the banks. Open your eyes to banks that are robbing you. You know who my favorite president was? Who? Thomas Jefferson. Because he saw all of this coming and tried to stop it. He fought the banks. JFK too, and they killed him for it. The banking institution is more dangerous than an army, he said. He also said that every generation needs a revolution, Jimmy. The American dream is just that. Just a dream. War is a continuation of politics, only by other means. Politics is a continuation of economics by other means. This is our...